It started on a quiet Thursday evening. I had just finished work and was looking forward to a simple night with my girlfriend, Aisha. We had been dating for 3 years, and while things had been tense lately, I thought we could talk things through. But as soon as I entered her apartment, I could feel that something had shifted. She was sitting on the couch, her arms crossed, eyes fixed on the floor. When I greeted her, she barely looked up. Finally, she spoke, her tone cold and precise. "You are out of the picture." For a moment, I didn't respond. The words hung in the room like a heavy fog. I had expected arguments, perhaps some emotional back and forth, but her statement was final, almost rehearsed. Instead of reacting with anger or pleading, I sat down opposite her and said quietly, "I understand." Her eyebrows rose, surprised by my calm response. "Understand? How can you possibly understand? I don't want you anymore." I nodded slowly. "I understand that you've made a decision. And if this is truly what you want, I won't try to stop you." For a few minutes, there was silence. The tension in the room was palpable. Aisha looked at me, trying to gauge my reaction, perhaps hoping for some sign of desperation, some emotional crumbling that she could exploit. But there was nothing. No anger, no pleading, just clarity. Then she asked, incredulously, "So, you're just going to let me walk out of your life without fighting?" "I'm not going to fight for something that's already ended in your heart," I replied. "Fighting won't change your mind. But I won't degrade myself by arguing over something that can't be fixed. I respect myself too much for that." Her expression shifted, from anger to something like disbelief, and then to a strange mix of guilt and confusion. She realized she had expected a performance, a dramatic reaction, but all she got was composure. Days passed. Aisha reached out occasionally, trying to justify her decision, explain her feelings, or invite me to talk. Every time, I responded with calm honesty. I didn't attack, I didn't insult, and I didn't try to manipulate her into changing her mind. I simply stated my position. I accepted her choice, and I was moving forward with my life. With that clarity, I started focusing on myself. I reconnected with friends I had neglected, took up hobbies I had pushed aside, and invested more time in my career. The space that had once been filled with uncertainty and tension was now occupied by growth and self-reflection. Weeks later, Aisha finally confronted me one last time. She seemed shaken, realizing that the man she had tried to dismiss was not only unshaken but thriving. I thought you'd be devastated," she admitted. I smiled gently. "I won't lie, it hurt. But pain is different from desperation. I understand what you wanted, and I accepted it. Now, I'm choosing to build something better for myself." Her silence was telling. She had expected me to collapse, to beg her to stay, but the truth was that my composure had revealed something she hadn't anticipated: strength, dignity, and self-respect. I wasn't someone who could be pushed aside without consequence, not in terms of anger, but in terms of life choices. Months went by, and I continued to grow in ways I hadn't imagined. I discovered new passions, made meaningful connections, and realized that letting go had been the best decision I could have made, for both of us. Aisha had her freedom, and I had reclaimed mine, along with a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. The lesson was clear. Sometimes, the most powerful response isn't pleading, begging, or showing anger. It's understanding, accepting, and moving forward with your life. Respecting yourself and your boundaries sends a stronger message than any outburst ever could. By the time I looked back on that night, I realized that the moment she declared me out of the picture had actually been a turning point. Not the end of something, but the beginning of something far greater. I didn't just survive the heartbreak, I grew from it, and in that growth, I found peace, strength, and freedom.